Hi everyone! Today we're gonna be outside reviewing this, the Cosina 4000S. Let's check this out. Story begins in 1994 when my parents got myself this camera for my birthday. But I quickly wanted something a little bit more capable than that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this camera, but it's pretty much limited. It's a point and shoot. But film cameras, SLRs, were way out of my reach. I mean, they were very expensive. Even the cheapest one was too expensive for me. Back then there was no internet, but there was something called the newspaper. And I found an ad for this camera, the Cosina 4000S. And the seller was asking like 50 bucks for a camera, 2 lenses and a camera bag, and also a flash. So I called him, arranged a meeting at the train station after school, and bought myself this. My mom was not really happy about that. Nowadays the second market is really developed. People buy themselves second-hand clothes or home appliances. But back then that was really frowned upon. Plus we didn't have the internet, so it was more difficult to find second-hand items. And the thing my mom said was that if this man sold this camera, it's because something was wrong with it. And obviously there was something wrong with it. One of the lenses was totally busted. Cosina cameras never had a very good reputation. They were seen as entry-level-ish kind of cameras. But it's an M42 lens mount, so it was easy for me to get another lens for it. Like this one, a bulky monster. The camera is from 1975, and now that I know a little about cameras, it feels like a 1960s camera. It's probably one of the reasons they were cheaper than Nikons or Pentaxes. The standard lens is this Cosina 55mm at 2.8, which is not a big aperture when you think of it, but since it's M42, it was easy for me to get this lens to help me for concert photography, because I was already into concert photography back in the day. M42 lens mounts back in the day was considered as obsolete. No one was looking for them for their cinematic look, you know. So getting lenses for this was easy, and also accessories like these macro rings for macro shots. Like I said, this camera looks like a camera from the 60s, even though it was from the mid-70s. In the viewfinder, you will only find this micro prisms for focusing, and this galvanometer, plus and minus, to set up the exposure. It's easy. I mean, the camera is also built like a tank. I mean, literally, it feels solid. It's a chunk of metal. I really don't see why they had a bad reputation back in the day. Well, they were looked as a poor guy's camera. But some resellers told me that when they sold a Cosina camera back in the day, they knew for a fact that they wouldn't see the customer because the camera would perform just the way it should. They were utterly reliable. And even though the lens is only 2.8, it's a pretty good performer. This is what I was able to get from back in the day with Tri-X and color film. Nothing to complain about. This camera also has all the features you need. You have a full set of shutter speed, self-timer, depth of field preview, which is normal with M42, and a hot shoe mount for the flash. So, unlike Russian-made cameras or Eastern Bloc cameras, they didn't cheapen out on the features. I mean, the way they got a cheaper camera was simply by using older technology. If you ask me if I prefer this camera over my Nikon F3, obviously I'm gonna prefer my Nikon. But when I went to Paris a few days ago, I grabbed this camera along with me and shot a few pictures. And you know what? I enjoyed using it. There's usually a debate online about what's the best camera, Nikon F3, Canon AE1, yada yada yada. You know what? The best camera is the one you enjoy using. And I really enjoy using this. So maybe this is the best camera to me. 25 years ago, I shot a picture right here with this camera. We're gonna do it again, but this time in black and white. Nowadays, with film camera prices going up like crazy, I think a Cosina camera like this might be a good deal. They're still being sold for a reasonable amount of money, and in the end, they're still very good cameras. I mean, they're just like Pentax Spotmatics, but only better. When you think about it, this camera is well made, affordable, good image quality. What's not to like about it? In fact, I love it. You remember when last year I said that when I was a kid I had a dream, and I mean a dream when I was asleep, not something I wanted to do. But in my dream I was hopping on a train to nowhere with just a camera, and I went over there, some places, maybe France, I don't know, just to take pictures. And I think I might want to do this. If I was to hop on a train and go and take some pictures, I would probably take this camera. This is the one I had when I had this dream, so it would be going full circle. I'm gonna do something with this. My phone is capable of shooting high-speed video up to 980 FPS. Well, let's give this a try. Boom! Booyakasha! Yeah, the slow motion has no sound. What does it have to do with the Cosina camera? Nothing, but I thought it was cool. Compared to the Pentax Spotmatic, this camera is better. The shutter button activates the light meter. You don't have a switch on the side. That's easier to handle. And you don't have to worry about batteries. Just an SR or LR44 works just fine. Every time I use this camera, I realize how good it is. And honestly, if you are on the market for a film camera and don't want to spend a fortune, you should really get one. Look at how sharp the lens is, even though it's the entry-level model. This is really a camera I love. And that's all I've got for you today. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. I'm not asking you to subscribe, after all. Nobody goes to the end of this video anyways. But yeah, it would be appreciated. So yes, you can subscribe, obviously.